as we sit here and breathe through our hearts, I just invite each of our ancestors to be here with us. May this conversation reach the ears and the hearts of those who need to hear it. And we honor the sacred mushroom together through this conversation as well. These beautiful little children who have been such wise and intelligent guides for each of us in our healing journeys. May this conversation and transmission of energy also be a vessel for the advocacy and for the spread of this healing wisdom. Welcome to Woo New, a show that explores healing and the expansion of our consciousness.
Where we explore all kinds of different energy modalities, therapies, and ideas that bring us closer to our collective liberation.
I'm Ellen, and I'm a journey work guide.
I'm Sam, and I am an integrative energy therapist.
And together, we are the co-creators of We Are All Daughters,
a quantum healing space dedicated to helping us reconnect to ourselves, our bodies, each other, and the universe.
So I want to first just say welcome back to Woo New, because I feel like it's been a little bit of time since our last conversation. And today, Sam and I are just so excited to welcome Tobias Zhuang into our fold. He is the founder, creator of Microdosify, which is a Canadian microdosing company. And on a personal note, I'm just so grateful. Like, I just have to witness the universe and the beautiful, mysterious ways in which it works, because we've both been following Microdosify for a while now. And I didn't realize that it was headed by another Asian, brother. And I just feel so honored to be able to have this conversation with him. And also come to find out after we set this plan in motion that he and I are both enrolled in the Microdosing Institute course together. And so I just feel like there's synchronicities beyond synchronicities that are all just kind of pulling us together into this space. So welcome, Tobias. We're just really, really grateful to be sitting here with you today.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for having me, actually.
Yeah, we've been looking forward to this for such a long time, because it's just like a conversation that we're always eager to have, and we're so curious about everything that you're doing, and we're so excited to share it. So thank you for giving us your time.
Sure.
So we're both really curious we're always curious about the backstory of how each of these beautiful creators, yourself included in this mix, get to create the thing that, is now bringing so much healing to people in this world. And I'm just so curious, what brought you, start from the beginning, wherever the beginning is, and lead us through what actually brought you to this moment of creating Microdosify.
Sure. I guess. Well, let me just start off by saying that opening, before we even jumped on this podcast, we did this meditation, and the way you spoke those words, you said something about how our ancestors would be here and, be with us during this podcast. And is a funny thing. Well, not funny, but when you had said that, I had this vision in my mind that my grandparents came down and just placed their hands on me. And
I'm getting chills.
It was, yeah. So a little bit about that is when I came out of prison the last time, about I would say 6 years ago, I remember my grandfather was I remember my mom saying something about grandpa's about to go, I think he's just waiting for you to come home. And I think it was during that time that my life was just in a wreck, and it was part of the catalyst that helped me change my life. And when you said that, just kind of sorry.
No, please.
I felt so deeply connected to those words. And yeah.
Wow.
Anyways,
Thank you for sharing that. I'm literally like, my tears are welling up and I'm feeling, it's like whenever I feel chills in my back, almost like a presence on my back, I feel like it's my ancestors. I always equate it to my father and my grandparents, particularly my nainai, my paternal grandmother, and I feel them around us. And yeah, I just have to say once more, I'm just so grateful that you're here.
thanks. Thank you. So let me just jump right in. My name is Tobias. I am the founder of Microdosify, and I guess my journey started really early on as a young boy who was, trying to just live life innocently and, enjoy it as a child. But I, growing up, I endured a lot of emotional abuse, a lot of physical abuse, and that really caused me to not know who I was and really hate who I thought I was. And that led me down this very dark path in life. When I was 11, I became suicidal. I would often think about like what the world would be like if I was not around. I would be so angry at just the people that I thought should love me. I thought that I didn't deserve love. I thought that was because of the way I looked. It was the way I carried myself. And those moments in my life, they pushed me further and further away from who like I truly should have been in life. And when I entered high school, I gravitated towards I guess you would say, the bad crowd, just because I found safety there, even though I wasn't like treated very well. I was still like bullied a lot, made fun of and whatnot. But when I looked at those people, I saw that like others, liked them, others respected them, and I, tried my best to emulate them and copy them and be like them. And so I got into drugs, I got into alcohol, I got into gangs, I got into violence and like all that stuff. And when I graduated, that's when things really started going like very fast downhill for me. I started getting into the party scene and like the rave culture and like doing lots of drugs, copious amounts of drugs. And just really living, I don't even know, was it even called living? It was just, trying to be something I wasn't. And, I built, and then during that phase, I became addicted to pills. I became, I started building a strong affinity to cannabis and cocaine and MDMA, ecstasy. The age of, I think I was just turned 19, maybe. I quote unquote ran away from home, and I know that a lot of people would say like, well, you didn't really run away from home, you're an adult, you moved out. But in an Asian family, like, you don't really just leave without like, your mother's blessing or your father's blessing or something like that, right? I remember my father is a missionary and he travels to China a lot, and one summer he decided to go with my mom, and during that time I had started, like, I was already like getting my foot into like selling drugs and the gang, like even further into the gang life. And that summer I remember I just like up and left. Like my parents came home and I was gone, and I didn't see them again for like 2 years.
Wow.
But yeah, so I joined a crew. I started selling dope, and eventually I got caught for it. I was a very bad drug dealer. I was a very bad criminal. I look back now and I'm like, that's like the barrier of entry is so low, and the skills required is like you kind of learn it, but it's definitely no Amazon, right? Like I would have been fired like 6 weeks in after getting busted, right? So so I got caught my first time, and I was just like, I committed myself to this life, and I was like, yeah, this is who I want to be. This is what I want to do, because I still had this mentality that like, and if I wanted to be liked in this world, or in this like, in my reality, I needed to be powerful. I needed to be a savage. I needed to be ruthless. I needed to be, I needed to be this person that was just the total opposite of who I was raised to be, who I was thought, was what I should be in life. And so, like, yeah, I went to prison my first time. I think I was like 21 or 20. And then I came out of prison, lost everything. Was so still, like, I went to prison and I came out like not a better criminal, but like a worse criminal with more connections. And I think that's like the problem with like the prison systems, is that
Right.
like, rehabilitation is what people think happens, but if someone is committed to that life, it becomes like the like the LinkedIn of the criminal underworld. You suddenly meet gangsters that were like legendary, like you
Wow.
looked up to, and then you would see these people and cross paths with, and because we're youngsters in this world, they're like, these OGs would be like, let us recruit these boys, right? And
In prison.
bring them
Yeah.
under our wing, So that's pretty much what happened to me, and I just, sorry, keep sniffling.
No worries.
So
how long
yeah,
were you in prison?
So in Canada, we have the grace of being very lenient on prisoners or on criminals. So my first one was a year, and my second one was 2 years, but I was facing 4, only because, actually I was facing 5, but I pled out, and I ended up only doing 2 years. But yeah,
were your parents and you in communication during this time?
Oh man, this is a good story. So when I first went to prison the first time, I managed to trick my parents into thinking that I went up north to work at like some oil mill or something like that.
Oh,
Wow.
And what I did was I had my girlfriend, and I would call my girlfriend at the time, and I would call her, and then we would 3-way a conversation.
Oh my! I was gonna say, how did you get away from? That's clever. Okay, I got to give you that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
Usually they announce
yeah.
the
Yeah,
prison-
exactly.
Yeah.
they announce it's like, oh, you have a collect call from
Right.
Tobias Zhuang from Fraser Regional Correctional Center. It's like, would you like to take this call? Press 1 to accept.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It sounds like where you went though was like it must have been really intense experience for you.
There were parts, yeah. I think God watched over me and really protected me, and like a lot of it sheltered me, and also, I learned to adapt and be like very moldable, and fit in with circles easily, because of what I've grown up with, how I've, the mentality of like, I need to fit in, so
Right.
do what it takes, talk the talk, make it look like I'm part of the group kind of thing. chameleon, right?
Right.
Right.
And so, yeah, after I got released on my first sentence, I lost everything. Had to reboot my life and uh, just went down, just kept doing what I was doing. Um, I met a girl. I had a, I got married. I had a kid. I was doing very good in life, but no matter where I went, it seemed like I still had this dark cloud hanging over my head about like who I was.
Mm.
Because like deep down inside, I knew that I wasn't this person that like could do so much harm to society. Um, and it was just it just like a huge spiritual battle for me. And my mom would even tell me, she's like, you know what, in your heart, like eventually she found out like what I was doing.
Mm.
My brother kind of like grew a conscience overnight, decided to rat me out, and that was like, long story short, it's basically all he's ever done to me in my life. Just make it really hard for me. And
Mm.
so my parents found out what I was doing, and yeah, they my mom said to me, like there's a spiritual battle going on. God wants your heart, but so does the devil. And like it was
Mm.
so true. And
Mm.
I remember fighting everything that it meant to be a Christian, to be a God, like to be a follower of Jesus. Um, and I would like test God. I would be like, fucking, like you can't take this away from me. Like you're not real. Like there's nothing you can
Mm.
do. I'm unstoppable. I'm like, I just got so egotistical, and you know, and I remember my brother telling me one time, like right before I got sent, right before I went to prison the second time, he was like, God's gonna teach you. God's gonna teach you a lesson one day. He's just gonna take everything away from you, and like I don't know what you're gonna do then. And I just pretty much brushed it off, ignored it, just like, yeah, whatever, it's not gonna happen, right?
Mm.
And lo and behold, like I think it was like 4 months later, I was picked up, and yeah, ended up serving 2 years.
Wow.
And after I got out of prison the second time, my wife had left me. I went through a very nasty custody battle. Uh, and I just like this. It seemed like this dark cloud was now a giant storm, and my life was just this little boat caught in the middle of it, and I was just thrown around by the waves, just like, fuck, here you go, man. Like I almost had no more energy left to fight it. Um, and so I, I remember watching my brother on a motorcycle one time, and I always wanted to get my own motorcycle. So I decided, hey, I don't have a kid right now to take care of. I don't really have a life. The least I could do is enjoy the little moments I have left, right?
Mm.
So I had the feeling, I was like, it's like you really don't belong on this planet anymore. So I went and got my motorcycle license, and I was so reckless on that thing.
Mm.
One night, just kind of said like, "Hey, this is it," like I jumped on my motorcycle and just went off into the night as fast as I could. And, I tried to take my own life on my motorcycle. And I survived. And
Wow.
it was. I remember my mom was supposed to be. So we went out that night to like a family gathering, meeting old friends from church, and I had put on this huge face, this mask that night. Oh yeah, life is okay. I'm doing all right. Just
Mm.
doing all right. And it's like I remember when we were leaving, it was nighttime, and my parents were supposed to follow me because I wasn't supposed to be riding at night. So they were going to tail me all the way home, and like a little bit into the trip, I just got lost in my emotions, and hit the throttle and just rode off as fast as I could. Just boom, gone. My parents couldn't even catch up to me. And I remember I was going 180 kilometers over this into this turn, and
Mm.
it was I was so inexperienced and so reckless, and I just kept going on harder onto the throttle, and I hit the median. I remember I was like, I noticed that I was going to I was sliding towards the median, like at high speeds. When you're on a turn, your bike will start to go outward,
Mm.
and I saw that, and I just throttled harder, leaned harder. And I couldn't make the turn, and I hit the median once, twice, and then on the third time, I got launched right off my bike into oncoming traffic. And I remember seeing my bike like sparks flying as it was dragged across the ground. I hit the ground rolling and lying there face down, just crying.
Wow.
Wow.
And then a bystander comes running up. He's like, "Hey man, are you okay? Are you okay?" And like, I remember just sitting on the side there. It's just like, I just want to die. Yeah, I just want to die. And it's like the culmination of everything that I had experienced in life. That moment, it's like I'm such a failure. I can't even take my own life.
Wow. What you
And then,
describe is like a miracle.
Yeah. It's like God was protecting you.
100%.
that's not even the first time either. So when I was
Wow.
25, I was sitting in my apartment. I guess you would call it a trap house. and yeah, I was lost in I was just gone. I think I was just on a lot of drugs, and that day I was just kind of, I wanted to end it then, and I put a gun to my mouth and I pulled the trigger. And yeah, the gun clicked. And yeah, I was so lucky.
Oh
Wow.
my
gun.
gosh.
Yeah.
God was like, you have a purpose to fulfill.
Seriously. Oh my goodness.
Mm.
Wow.
So yeah, yeah, I have so many near-death encounters. I've been shot at. I've survived like car accidents where I crossed like 3 lanes of highway with cars coming, and somehow I land in a ditch, and my car is not like upside down, and it's like ditch is overflowing with water. I've been on my motors like this. I don't know how to describe it, but like I should be dead like many times over, if not by my own actions. Just by like freak accidents. But I'm here today, right? And I guess that's where things change. Is after my second attempt to take my own life, I remember I had a friend. His name is Brody, and he brought over some magic mushrooms. And I had one trip before this, and it was very shameful. Well, shameful in my eyes back then, and very embarrassing. So
What happened on that first trip?
I was in my teens. This was like just towards the end of high school, and I had done way too many mushrooms with my friends, and started tripping balls. And I decided to go home at like 3 in the morning. So I drove home.
Still high?
While you were
Oh,
tripping?
I was gone.
So you're like hallucinating and
I was gone. It, like irresponsible. Like, I'm just gonna say this to your listeners: like, do not try on mushrooms. It gets really
Yeah.
weird and it's
Oh
dangerous.
God. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can only imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
So like during that trip home, as I was driving, I felt like I was going so fast, but I was only going like 30 kilometers an hour. And, like trees started to like stretch, kind of like whenever you're watching Star Trek and they go hyperspace and like,
Yeah.
the stars had these, like, lines.
Yeah.
The trees were doing that, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm going so fast!" And I look down at the speedometer, and it's like 30 kilometers. And I'm like, okay, I need to pay attention, and I'm just gripping the wheel with a death grip, like just white knuckles all the way home. And I remember I made it home, and I went upstairs and like getting ready to lie down in bed, and this strange conviction in my heart was just like, You should go tell your parents that you love them. And
Mm.
I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. 3 a.m. all high on mushrooms. I opened the door. I opened the door, and I see my mom and dad sleeping, and I swan dived right into the middle of them.
Oh my god!
And I hugged. I reach over, one arm in each hand, like one parent in each arm, and I just bring them so close to me, and I hug them, and I like said, "I love you guys. I love you guys." And they're like, "What the hell are you doing? What is going on here? It's like, what time is it? What are you doing?" I'm just like, "I love you guys," you know. And I'm like, I have to confess some things.
Wow!
Oh my god!
Whoa! They were probably like, we were not prepared for this.
No, they were not. They were not. Like what I spilled, like so I had gotten I started getting my foot in the door with like selling drugs, right? And I told them that. I was like, hey, like for the last like 2 months or so, I've just kind of been like doing this, and they were like, whoa, what the heck? This is whoa. And then I told them that like, you know, a lot of the bad things that I've done in life, and like they took me back to my dad took me back to my room, and then I told them that like I had done mushrooms, and they were like they thought I was like possessed. They thought I was like, you know, and it was a very embarrassing and like shameful experience at the time. I remember like waking up the next morning, not being able to look at my dad in the eye, or my mom, or my brother, or just, you know, I just wanted to crawl under a rock and just live there for like the next few hundred years. Yeah, like my dad did a prayer circle on me. My brother came into the scene, and I was like, oh my goodness, it was a gong show. But anyways, fast forward back to the story timeline. So my friend Brody comes, and he drops off this like bag of mushrooms, and I'm like, all right. And thinking to myself, like, all right, well, you know, can't get any worse than this. My life is already pretty much been like, yeah, it's already pretty much been to the lowest of the low, so might as well try it, right? But this time, I will eat less.
Smart.
Because if I eat less, then I will not be as high. And I didn't realize it at the time, but that was my first ever microdose. And I would say it was like a little bit higher than a microdose.
Wow.
It was maybe like, if I think back to it, the experience, how it felt, it's probably like 200 milligrams, maybe.
Okay.
Wow.
And yeah, it was 200 milligrams. It felt really good, man. I was like, I just like, out of like, you know, I didn't think of it after I took it. It's just like, okay, like, be wary if you're gonna get too high. And then I was expecting to be full blown high, but then I just felt at peace. I was like, whoa, why do I feel so calm, and like this chatter in my brain is not like so active, and I'm not like thinking about what other people are thinking about me. You know, like I'm not like, my anxiety is just like so reduced, you know. And I felt happy. I felt like joy, you know, like the moments that we were talking with each other, and it was like, I felt different, you know. Whereas before, I'm like forcing myself to laugh, to be a part of the conversation, to, you know, think about ways to sound cool and like in the know. But here I was just like, you know, I felt like I was just being me.
Wow.
And I was like, this is weird. So I did some research, and turns out that like at that time, MindMed was just releasing news about what they were intending to do with psychedelics. And I remember reading the article, and I was like, whoa, what is this? This is like these are drugs though. Like, how is it possible that people are, you know, able to invest and like do research on this? So it's like, man, if these like rich white people, like, I just, you know, back then I'm just like I just thought the white people were kind of more privileged or had more like leeway in life when it came to like doing certain things, like cannabis space. We kind of saw that,
Mm-hmm.
and
Totally.
uh, and so I was just like, why is it that these like white investors and like people can like just do what they want to do and not get in trouble? I'm like, well, screw that, right? Like I should be able to do something, right? So I I started off in this space not as Microdosify, but we actually started off as a company called Tandem Health, and it was supposed to be a microdose tracking app that was like it would link therapists with patients,
Oh, that's a
and
cool idea.
Yeah.
like there's a lot that are there's a few that are out there now, but the way that we had it was that like we would monitor it with like biometrics, and like it would send notifications to the therapist with,
Yeah.
when certain like alerts happened, and yeah, it would just keep the patient more accountable and like make the process more. So the idea was psychedelics would never be introduced unless there was a monitored setting, a controlled setting, and like with microdosing, you can't like you're not going to sit in an office for 8 hours and microdose and whatever, right? It's a daily task that you do while you're doing your day, right? Um, so how did we create that controlled setting? And like my idea was like having it so that like they're paired via app to the therapist, and hopefully that definition of controlled setting is applicable. But it was so early on at the time that like investors were so cautious, like, hey, we're not sure what's going to happen with psilocybin. We're not sure if they're going to legalize it or allow it as medicine. So, like, sorry, now is not the time. And when that failed, well, I wouldn't say failed. When that happened, we had to pivot, and I was like, you know what? If if I had to wait for regulations to define what I could do in this space, how many people will be hurt?
Right.
How many people
Yeah.
will, be able to survive that duration? And because, in Canada, it's kind of like gray area. We're pretty much cowboys out here. It's wild, wild west. Um, we can not operate with impunity, but like it's just so low priority for law enforcement that like we're able to operate. And there are these legal loopholes that we can utilize to help bring the medicine to the people. So yeah, Microdosify was like our pivot, and yeah, and here we are today. Just, yeah.
Wow,
That's
it's such a
incredible.
gift what you've created and brought forward. Like, I mean, just before the interview, even I was saying how many people I send to your website because there's so the way that you are able to, just sort of summarize super helpful information in very digestible pieces. And the way you talk about it it's very inviting, especially if you don't know where to start or you're very new to working with psilocybin and microdosing. So I'm a huge fan of your website and all the work that you've done.
Thank
And
you.
I love that you mix in these blends
Yeah.
with the functional mushrooms. It's so powerful.
Well, yeah, our blends are less functional than they are just giving you the experience of the microdosing. We're realizing now that like the dosages of those functional mushrooms are not adequate enough, so it's kind of like not really worth putting it in at such low amounts. We're looking to optimize those. So if anyone out there looks at our ingredients and says this does nothing, I completely agree with you. Other than the microdosing aspect, we are working on that. So future forward, we will be improving.
I love that. I mean, I feel like this entire field too, and just even working with this like sacred medicine, I feel like it's a constant evolution, and
Mm-hmm.
so much of
Yeah.
the ways in which we work with this medicine, I'm finding personally to it's like it's coming straight from the medicine itself. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
if I'm sitting in a macrodose journey with the mushroom, things will just like come to me that are
Mm.
not from me, but I feel like it's very much the mushrooms kind of guiding me.
Yeah.
Even as far as like, this is how you're meant to hold space. This is how you
Yeah.
are supposed to show up in a container as you're guiding others. And it's wild, but I feel like that's where this medicine is actually kind of sentient. And while I really appreciate like a lot of the research and the clinical side of things, I also feel like there's a spiritual component to this medicine that where that information is just being delivered straight to people like you who you're very much a steward of a big steward for this medicine. And so yeah, it's amazing to see how this whole huge, I mean, your life story up until this point is just, I hope you're going to write a memoir.
I know.
'Cause
I
feel
was
you need
thinking
to.
that. I was like, this would be an incredible story to share. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could go into details. Yeah, it would be quite frightening in some points. But
I mean, but it's like, I don't know, when I hear stories like yours, and honestly, I don't hear that many personally, like directly one to one. But when I hear stories like yours, and I just have to say, it's not a coincidence that we met. I'll just say
no,
that. Like,
definitely
there's so
not.
many commonalities. I also got a motorcycle. I also was just basically, I wasn't necessarily consciously looking to die, but I was definitely testing the waters there
Yeah.
through my own journey and not really understanding why, but just being as reckless as possible with like drunk driving and all kinds of stuff. So as I was hearing your story, there's just it was like bringing me back into my own journey too of all this stuff. And yeah, we'll talk offline a little bit more. I'll share some stuff.
I know. I was thinking about you too, Al. I was like, huh.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. The just even like having missionary parent, like my whole family is very, very like devout Christian. That's my upbringing. Taught Sunday school, like the whole nine. So it's I totally know. I so know. Like I can't even. I can fill in those blanks. But yeah, I'm just like marveling at where you are today and just your passion for this medicine and how amazing. I really do feel like this whole long history of not feeling like you belong in this body or on this earth and all the pain that you went through had a purpose to it, you wouldn't be here doing this amazing work without that backstory.
Yeah.
That's literally like when I macrodose, like I remember I think it was like the very last macrodose I've done, and it's been a while now. And I went back in time and relived all these traumatic experiences, and through these experiences I actually didn't relive them as that wounded self. It was actually me in this healed form. And I was like looking at I was watching my younger self like live those moments, and
like acknowledging them for the
exactly.
medicine they brought you.
Exactly. And then I'm like actually having a conversation with myself, and I'm like I still remember like me. There's this one where I'm like sitting in this chapel. Like my brother used to play this game called Ditch, right, where it's essentially run away from your brother and make everybody treat you like an asshole, and so I was just so tired of like being abandoned, because that's how I felt, abandoned in life. And I just walked into the chapel and I was like crying, just swearing at God, just so angry at God, like, why are you putting me in this world just so I could endure this pain? Why? Like I just want my brother to appreciate me and accept me, right? Like, come on, dude, like get with the program. And I relived that moment, and I sat next to him. I just like put my hand around him. Like, hey man, like life is good now though. Like you went through a lot of this sadness and this pain, but like think about this though. Like it's part of your journey, right? Like right now, you sure you have things to work on, but like look at where you are. You know, look at the story you told, you're able to tell, you know, and it's just coming to closure with those moments. And yeah, like this final like idea that, hey, if you had not gone through everything you had gone through, would you still be the same person you are today, pursuing what you are doing today? Like if I didn't go to prison, if I had no concept of what law and order and consequences was, would you have the courage to pursue Microdosify how you are now?
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I probably wouldn't. You know, I'd probably look at my life and be like, okay, I have to go work. I have to, you know, pay bills. I have to raise my family. I have to, you know, live on the safe
Inside
side.
the lines. Yeah.
Safe side, exactly. And, you know, here I am. I'm like, well, I've touched fire and I've been burnt. Can it get worse? Probably it could, maybe. But you know how to handle that now. It will suck if it does happen, but you've been through it once. You've walked out alive. I think you could do it again if it, you know, knock on wood, it doesn't happen. But like, I wouldn't have this courage if it wasn't for those experiences, right? So
yeah, that's so beautiful. I'm always constantly reminded how powerful these like sacred teachers and healers are. The mushrooms, like I tell people all the time who ask about microdosing and are just, you know, just super new into it. It's like, wait until the mushrooms will find you. Like the medicine will find you. And that's so true in your story too. It was like they appeared when you were ready.
Yeah.
And just like, it was like this moment where it was like the path changed.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
And it happens either like it can happen in the worst ways or the best ways, but at the end of the day, it's going to happen, right?
Right.
And, how you take those experiences and learn from them is like the key part, right? Like there's no point in going through this if you're just going to be like, it's whatever, right? It's not whatever. It's your life, and well, like, what are you doing if you're not bettering yourself, right?
Right.
What are you doing if you're not taking experiences like this and really evaluating and taking them for what they're worth? You know, like it's like having that accountability. You know, like your parents would do this to you, but it would be in such a way that you're like, oh no, I don't really care, right? But like this is you yourself being accountable to yourself. You know, like if you can't care for that, then you're lost, man.
That's such a good way of putting it. I mean, it is. It's every individual's responsibility to hold themselves accountable and to do whatever work is necessary to find that harmony within, you know, so that there can be more harmony outside. And I just also have to like say, there's a part of me that's just laughing because you're like, you went through this whole, like what put you into prison is being a drug dealer and a bad one. And yet you are a drug dealer now, but in the best way possible.
Yeah, I was like,
know?
You're sharing so much healing and medicine with the world right now in the best way.
I sell hope. I sell hope.
Yeah.
I don't sell dope. I sell hope.
Yeah,
I love that.
Dude, that needs to be a freaking, you know, sticker or something like
I
that.
know.
Like
I was like, can we make a bumper sticker, please?
Or the tagline for Microdosify. How perfect.
Hope dealer.
If you've gone through so much in your life, I'm curious, you know, now that you're on this side of it, and it's not to say that you're far from over it. Like I think we're all like works in progress until the day we leave this body, and then decide to come back, you know, whenever. But I'm curious, like, what is the piece of wisdom that you really hold on to and has become like sort of the cornerstone of your life?
Oh, this is a great one. That's a beautiful question, and it's like something that I really like. I ask myself every day is what action are you taking to change your life, and are you being accountable to that action? Like if you know that in your life there are some things that like are wrong but you do nothing, then you deserve nothing. Like if you don't take action to change, and I know action is hard, and I know that some things are just so hard to let go of, like betrayal, anger, you know, these are like really powerful emotions. But like sadness and grief, like, but if you live them if you think about these things every single time, you relive those experiences every single time. You relive them. Like, it's like death by 1,000 cuts, you know?
God, yeah.
Except you never die. You're just cut every single day, right?
Yeah, and it's like your body doesn't know the difference between a memory and the actual experience.
Yeah,
so you really
exactly.
are reliving it every day. Yeah.
Exactly, right? So like for me, it's just like take action as much as you can, even a little bit, every single day, and be proud of those actions. You know, as small as they are, as big as they are, it doesn't matter. Just know that you are 1 foot, 1 inch, 1 millimeter. It doesn't matter, as long as you're moving forward every single time. And that's like, it's just it. If like for me, I realize that like if I don't progress and if I don't change, I will eventually end up in prison or dead. I will die one day, but I don't want to die now. Not anymore. You know, there's so much that I have left to do. There's so much I have left to appreciate in life. Like, I'm just not ready. But if I live every single day as if I'm just like, anger is one thing that I'm working on. And if I live every day allowing my anger to take a hold of me, and when it takes hold of me, I'm not my true self. I'm not who I want to be, who I want to show up, how I want to show up in life. I'm not really living. I'm not really even alive, because that's what I am that's what I am right then and there, right? But that's not who I want to be. That's not how I want to live, So just, let go of what you need to let go. Take whatever action that you need to take. It's hard, but it's worth it.
I love what you said too about like, it doesn't matter how big the action. It can be an inch, it can be a mile, it can be a centimeter or a millimeter. It's like, that's so true too. Like, getting started, it's just one small step in any direction.
Yeah. Agreed.
Thank you so much. I feel like I'm going to be sitting with this conversation for a really long time and just letting it integrate slowly. I can't say thank you enough for your honesty and vulnerability and just courage to tell your story. And thank you so much for just all the amazing work that you're doing.
Yeah, this was so special. It was such an honor to get to talk to you. We've been really looking forward to this for a while. So
thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Music for Woo New is composed by Adam Miller.